Hi, all. It's Jan of the Jan Files. Thank you for being on my YouTube channel or Substack. I appreciate the support. Today is a big one, folks. So I hope I can explain this to you in because it's a little bit like a web kind of thing, but here we go. So first, I want to talk to you about the Tate brothers. Then I'm going to talk about Paolo Zampolli, and then we'll weave Epstein in throughout this. So if you don't know who the Tate brothers are, the Tate brothers are influencers. I don't think they have it anymore, had their own kind of platform. They are of the mind that women shouldn't have control of their own bodies, that they should do whatever men tell them to do, that they should be controlled by men, that they shouldn't vote. So you get that. Now that has led them to it seems, and allegedly, they have been charged with sex trafficking, rape, physical abuse, and let me see if there's anything else there. Actual body harm, controlling prostitution. Now, there are two of them, right? There's Andrew and there's Tristan. So they've both been accused of similar crimes. Now, I haven't paid attention to them because I'm not a 20-year-old boy. But the thing that I have always known is that they were accused of sex trafficking and they were jailed in Romania. And then eventually they were let out on bail or whatever they do in Romania. But they couldn't leave the country because, they're not coming back, right? So, however, Donald Trump's administration decided to get involved. So when they were released within Romania, Donald Trump sent, or let me put it this way, the Trump administration sent Richard Grenell there to ask them to give the Tate brothers their passports back. He went and did this at the same time J.D. Vance was there for a meeting. There is no disputing this. Everybody says this happened. So this is not like, oh, I'm saying something. These are the facts. And as we know, a few days later, they were given their passports and off they went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, I can't even remember whether I told you they're British American citizens. They have 2 passports and they were able to come back to the United States. So that's who the Tate brothers are. They are not convicted of anything at this point, to my knowledge, but they certainly have been accused. Now, on top of Romania, the UK has also filed many charges against the Tate brothers. In 2025 May, there were 10 charges against Andrew and 11 charges against Tristan. However, this month, 2026, were new charges brought. And it was 42 total charges. And that was just Andrew alone, 17 for Tristan. So it's combined 59 charges. This does not include Romania. Okay. So we're talking about 59 charges. So this past weekend on the 18th, the Tate brothers were arrested in Miami because the UK wants them to come back. They have asked for an extradition of these 2 guys to the UK. Will it happen? Well, we'll see. Given what we know about what the Trump administration did to get them out of Romania and into the United States, it wouldn't surprise me if somehow we stop this from happening. And that, I mean, given what we're learning about the Epstein files, given the roles out there, I don't know how we could even be having this conversation right now, but we are. This was this past weekend. The week leading up to this weekend, Paolo Zampolli brought him on a trip to Washington, D.C. Now, who is Paolo? You've probably heard of name because he was the one who has said that he introduced Trump to Melania. So that will tell you that they have been friends for 30 years. Paolo Zampolli is friends with Melania and he's friends with Trump. So much so that he is also now a global ambassador of the administration. Yes, a global ambassador of the Trump administration. So Paolo Zampolli also has a history with Epstein. He so let me go back. Sorry, it's just there's a lot of stuff here. So I don't know exactly when he met Epstein, but he was also Zampolli was in the modeling world. So he was a part of, Epstein's world in terms of, the elite models, Jean-Luc Brunel, all of these people who were in modeling agencies who in some cases were also either prosecuted or accused of raping young women or sex trafficking young women. And so Paolo was part of this world. I'm not accusing him of anything, so let's just be clear about that, okay? One of his earliest girlfriends came through and his agency, which was called ID Models. Her name was Adriana Mushenko. I'm not saying if I'm saying that right, but mostly she's known in documents as Adriana Ross. Okay. She was first his girlfriend, then whatever. I don't know the timing of any of this. She eventually in 2002 became Epstein's scheduler, one of his schedulers. Now, to my knowledge, she has not said ever that she was groomed and attacked by Epstein. I have not read that. And if I've gotten that wrong, please let me know. I know Sarah Kellen, who is also another scheduler, said she was groomed and what did suffer from sexual abuse. But Adriana Ross was part of also Epstein's 2008 agreement with the Miami prosecutors or Miami-Dade, who the fuck, Palm Beach, whatever, prosecutors. The agreement that he signed and that they agreed to gave this woman immunity. Now, let's remember. So we're going back. She's connected to Epstein. Paolo had dated her. She's now with Epstein. And okay, step one. Step two, in 2013, long after he knew about the trial in 2008 and and what happened, he becomes partners with Ghislaine Maxwell in a nonprofit that supposedly is supposed to make her look good in the UN. So that he then has ties to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is Paolo Zampolli I'm talking about. So, okay, that's enough background. So he's definitely was in Epstein's world. He knew him. So, and there's no doubt about that. That's not fabrication on my part. That's a fact. He knew Epstein. He is also in the Epstein files. Now, Paolo Zampolli, who is now a global ambassador for the Trump administration, brought Andrew and Tristan last week to Washington, D.C. He introduced him to Wesley Hunt. They took a picture together. That he is a conservative representative from Texas, a MAGA. So he took a picture with him. He also brought him to some other place called Ned. I don't know. It's a high-end nightclub that I gather people from the administration hang out. So you're forewarned, okay? And on top of that, he held a 150-seat dinner at his home in Georgetown. Now, was it for the Tates or they just attended? Not sure about that. I don't know what the invitation said. But yeah, 150 people. I guess not one of those fuckers learned that you shouldn't hang out with sex traffickers. You follow me here? These guys are accused sex traffickers all over the world. And Paolo Zampolli, who is a global ambassador for the Trump administration, is bringing them into Congress, holding a thing for them in his house, or however you want to describe that, and hanging out with them in one of these very exclusive she clubs in Washington, D.C. Now, so there's that. I'm also going to talk to you about the Trump family's relationship to this man. I already told you about Trump's relationship to Zampolli. Now let's go back to the Tates. What is the relationship of the Trump family to the accused sex traffickers, the Tate brothers? Well, so let me, I've got some written down. I'd rather read quotes that are accurate. The Tate's own attorney gave a notably pointed statement about the D.C. trip. What I will say is this: Washington knows that Andrew and Tristan Tate's ability to influence the next election is unmatched. That's their attorney saying that, the Tate's attorney. This is a quote from Tate when he was on X, Twitter, before he was released. The Tates will be free. Trump is the president. The good old days are back. And this is from another attorney. They feel secure in America for several reasons, the primary one being that Donald Trump is the president. And an accurate quote is from Donald Trump Jr. We've got people attacking you. As far as I'm concerned, they just want to silence you. So they're trying to frame this as a free speech issue and not as a sexual trafficking issue. Okay. So this is so much the Trump playbook. It's really about one thing, but they try to make it about another. So what happened this past weekend was that Zampolli, the global ambassador for the Trump, held these things in honor of sex traffickers, alleged sex traffickers. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And the 150 of people were there might find themselves in another version of the Epstein files. We're literally having people from the government host accused sex traffickers, rapists, accused of brutalizing these women. So, folks, this is unbelievable, and everybody should be talking about it, because this goes to show that they don't give a shit. They're doing it in plain daylight, and they just expect not to get caught. And if they are, they'll just pardon people. I mean, that's just what Trump is doing. He's like pardoning anybody who does anything wrong, because they don't have to face accountability as long as they pay him. Right? This is gross. Please make sure that you spread this. And I'll see you soon.